started attending probably November or December of 77 and joined the church, as I always tell everybody, on February 5th, 1978, which happened to be our first anniversary. So I have to remember the date. It was, as everybody always says, it was a friendly church. I don't actually remember the first day we were here. I do remember that within a week or two after we started coming, the minister showed up at our door one evening just to talk to us and assign us to committees. But it was a friendly church. It was obviously a progressive church. In 1980 was the church's first more light statement, where we said we were going to accept people regardless of sexual, gender identification, either identification. In my memory, which may not be all that good, the issue of AIDS probably came up a little bit later than 79 or 80. Harry Holfelder, who got here in 1985, yeah, it was the year after our second son was born, he became particularly involved and got the church more involved, although I have a dim recollection of some events happening, and I don't know whether that was pre or post Harry, but Harry was the one. David Coleman was the one who got us actively involved in opening ourselves to gay folk. Harry was the one who said we've got to be involved with the AIDS crisis. We can't be afraid of each other.
Right.
My recollection is that this is something we have to do. It's really not up for discussion. Certainly we're going to discuss it, but it's not controversial. We have to do this.
Mm-hmm. And the pastor at that time was Bill Bearden?
Well, Bill Bearden probably, Harry Holfelder got here in 85, so Bill Bearden probably left in 83, but I don't know those dates exactly. And David Coleman was the associate pastor, and he was here for the transition between Bill and Harry. And David was, frankly, a leading voice in saying we have to do this. Mm-hmm. This is the way I remember it. The year that Cal Ripken broke Lou Gehrig's streak, earlier that year, this church hosted a national meeting of what was at the time PLGC? I think that was the acronym, and Presbyterians for Lesbian and Gay Concerns. And which was sort of the forerunner to the More Light name and the Covenant Network, and a little more out there than the Covenant Network. And so that was a pretty big deal. There were, I'll bet we had at least 100 folks here, maybe more. And it had grown over the years from, smaller gatherings till our gathering, and then the next one was up in Rochester. But by the time we hosted it, it was a big event. Mm-hmm. No, again, I think David went out into the gay community and for the purpose of finding out what was going on and how we could be involved, and that was important. David also went out into the homeless community and how could we help the street folks. He was particularly interested in seeing the church live its mission. Mm-hmm. The other thing, being a good Presbyterian, that I am most proud of is that when the church took stances, and we did with the More Light, and then when G60106B, which was drilled into our brains, it was when the denomination officially said gay folks can't be ordained. And the church produced another statement, but not only did we vote that we weren't going to abide by that, what I was proudest of was that we wrote to the presbytery, to the synod, and to the General Assembly and said, we're not going to abide by it. We're going to continue to pay our per capita, and we will participate in any disciplinary action. So it wasn't sneaking around. It wasn't in the closet. It was, this is who we are, and deal with us because we're going to continue to deal with you. We didn't leave.